Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Monsters Den. As we celebrate the month of October, the coming of Halloween on October 31st, throughout the month we're going to take a look at some classic horror film trilogies, triple bills, triple headers, triple films of terror. I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. Today we're going to look at the granddaddy of them all. One of the films that kind of started it all back in 1931, its sequel in 1935, and the sequel to that in 1939. Of course, I'm talking about Universal's Frankenstein. Followed by The Bride of Frankenstein, followed by The Son of Frankenstein. So, of course, the James Whale creation, based on the Mary Shelley novel of Victor Frankenstein, who creates life from the body parts of dead human beings, stealing body parts from the graveyard with his trusted assistant, and creating a new creature, a new being, a new man. It's a classic film. I've probably watched the original more times than any other film ever. And it never, ever gets old. I mean, just the performances alone of Boris Karloff as the creature, as the monster, as, what they call the Frankenstein monster. Colin Clive as Victor Frankenstein or Dr. Frankenstein. Just such a great cast throughout all these films. And the first one is just so, shocking. So creepy. I mean, the acting alone of Karloff is just absolute pure genius. The kind of pained emotion from Colin Clive, who's just driven to madness to see his creation, till its end, right? And then so disappointed, so hurt that because of the transfer of the wrong brain, instead of from a scholar, from a criminal, into this new body he's creating, and then actually it's a monster he has created, and his just absolute horror at all his work. And now look at this creature, this mindless, rampaging criminal of a creation. A fantastic film with just the right amount of menace and sorrow, and just the performances. You can't help but not feel sorry for Karloff's creature in this film. That's what's so good about it. He didn't ask to be created, right? He is what he is. And the end of the film where he goes to destroy his creator, and they're up at the top of the tower that gets burnt down by the townspeople. It's just so dramatic. The entire build of this film, where he's rampaging across the countryside, trying to break up the wedding. It's just a great film that, if you've read Shelley's book, follows it fairly well, though you do get moments, you get plenty of scenes from the book that wind up in the first two films. And they take lots of liberties and things like that, but still very well done. The second film, of course, monster is still alive. Winds up going back to his creator, make me a mate, someone like me. All of a sudden the monster is now talking, right? Which is a little bit different. But just a fantastic sequel that's a little more lighthearted, I think. A little more lighthearted. Not quite as serious. You have Elsa Lanchester, of course, who plays the bride. That whole final reel of the film, the last 20 minutes, half hour, just absolutely amazing. And again, the monsters, just disgust and frustration at the fact that this female creation that his creator put together and brought to life for him shuns and rejects him. And now I'm going to, if you won't, in other words, if you won't be with me, neither of us are going to be around, so to speak, right? I'm going to get rid of all of us. And again, the end of that movie, chaos, castle crumbles, all that kind of stuff. But no, you can't kill this creature, right? You can't kill him. Because, of course, he's back for the third film, Son of Frankenstein. So here we have, James Whale, who directed the first two films, moves on. Okay, Colin Clive, of course, not in this next film. You actually have his son, since it's many years later. The creature is still alive, has been, in the kind of in suspended animation in the pits below the castle, okay, the ruins of the castle, and actually found by this new character to the storyline, Bela Lugosi's Igor, which one of his best roles ever. I absolutely love Bela Lugosi, and to have him and Karloff's final performance as the monster together in this film is absolutely a work of genius. And Lugosi steals this film as the demented, hunchbacked, or neck-crooked Igor, okay, who brings the monster out from the sulfur pits, or wherever not actually the sulfur pits, wherever he got him from, and actually befriends him, helps nurse him back to life, meets up with the son of Dr. Frankenstein, brings him back to full strength. You know how this all goes. Again, another really, really great film. And what's great is when the monster is back to full strength and Igor actually gets the monster to do his bidding and get rid of all his enemies, all the people from the town who, had him arrested, and then, he had all these issues with, one by one, knocking them all off. And then, of course, the great climax at the end, when the monster actually does go into the sulfur pit. So, just fantastic, fantastic films. All three legends of horror cinema, done, of course, by Universal, one of my favorite film studios back in the day, releasing all these classic films. Of course, there are other Frankenstein-related films that Universal put out, but those three are by far the best. Okay, later you would see Ghost of Frankenstein, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, so on and so forth. All fine films, but the first three, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein, are the trio. That is the trilogy that you want to start off with. So we hope you enjoyed this edition of The Monster's Den. Go out this Halloween season and make sure you watch all three back to back. And if you like what you see, continue with the rest of the series, because there's nothing like the old classics. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. And of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up, more entries in this month's triple feature horror at The Monster's Den. Rich Catino will be joining next for a look at the first three films in the Hellraiser series. You don't want to miss that. And next week, Chris Allen and I will look at three each of our favorite werewolf films. So tune in then to The Monster's Den. Triple features of terror throughout the month of October.